All right. I think we are officially live on this Monday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, March 1st. Can you believe it? We are now in March of 2021. Crazy. It feels like it was just January 1st. I don't know about you, but time is flying by as usual. But anyway, I wanted to jump on this morning, and I wanted to discuss something that I am calling the content breadcrumb strategy. All right. And this is where we are going to be thinking a little bit differently than just creating content to create content. You guys know right now, if you're watching this, you've been watching any of my past coffee talks in the past week and a half, we're getting ready to do our content creation challenge, our 7-day content creation challenge, which is happening this Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. So this would be my quick little reminder to let you know that if you are listening to this before March 3rd or the morning of March 3rd, which is on a Wednesday, and you have not yet joined, you can still join us. And if you attend live, you can attend for free. All right. We're doing this kind of like a hybrid. We used to do, and we still do, we'll do more of those, is where we do our fast track workshops, and they are a paid workshop. What we're doing is we're giving people the opportunity to go through this live with us this first round, and it's going to be live. And then once we're done with each lesson and each session, that is, we're going to be pulling that down, and then it's going to be in a paid product, okay, a paid training. And we have a VIP pass right now that you can get access to as well. So if you go to launchyourcontent.com, whether you're watching this before and you want to go through the live challenge, or if you want to go through the live challenge by yourself at a later date, this is going to be 7 days in a row. So if you join us and you're going to go through it live, every single day, we are going to be going through one action step, one part of this process. By the end of the 7-day content creation challenge, you will have a piece of content that is, number one, searched for, people are looking for, actively looking for. It's going to be optimized. It's going to be formatted properly, and it is going to be ready for you to start getting traffic. And it's also going to be one breadcrumb that we are going to be creating. All right. And that kind of leads me into what we're going to be talking about here today. And that is how to use breadcrumb content, or what I call the content breadcrumb strategy. All right. And you can kind of think about it like when we are creating content. All right. Or let's time out for a second. Let's just say that we have a store somewhere, right? We have a location, a physical location. How do you normally get people to know about your business? All right. About your store? Well, you have to do little advertisements, right? You want to get people talking about it. You do grand openings, you do all of this stuff. That's technically, in a sense, breadcrumbs, right? We're putting out these little things so this way here, people can find it and go, oh, yeah, I tasted that. Where did you get that? Where did you get this? I got it over there, right? And so what we want to do is we want to create these breadcrumbs that naturally lead the right people that are looking for what you have to offer. All right. So the more breadcrumbs that we get out there that can lead back to what we have to offer of the right people that want those breadcrumbs, right? There's different flavors. There's different flavors of breadcrumbs out there. And we're going to create breadcrumbs that are going to attract the people into our brand. All right. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot now, is where we talk about the evergreen content. Evergreen content is just that, right? It's kind of like planting seeds that are going to lead the right people back to your brand. Now, if you think about it like a breadcrumb, if you put breadcrumbs, all these different breadcrumbs leading up to leading to your website, you've got that many more chances for people to start finding you and then consuming and then leading back to your home base, as we call it. All right. So anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about here today. But again, a little reminder, if you need help creating content for your brand, I would encourage you to go to launchyourcontent.com. If you know someone that is struggling with creating content for their brand, go to launchyourcontent.com or share that link, and that will take them to that 7-day content creation challenge. All right. And again, if you want to go through this live, we're offering it for free. If you're seeing this later and we're not live anymore, it's going to be something that you can, for a very small investment, you can go through that whenever you want. But it's going to be in a 7-day window, and we're going to take you through that process, the exact process. And we're going to be sharing with you real examples of content we've created in a random niche. You're going to kind of be blown away by what this content looked like and how simple it is, but how it's bringing over thousands of people every single month. All right. So before we jump in here, wanted to say good morning to all my coffee peeps out there, my coffee crew. What's up? I'm going to see who's hanging out with us here this morning. We've got, yes, Octavio, March. Wow. Right. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Jeannie, what's up? Good morning to you. Alejandro says the professor is back. What up, G? Yeah, the glasses, right? Is that what you mean? Let's see here. Salama, what's up? Happy Monday to you, Salama. Good to see you. Okay, we got a question about the content. Will the content creation class include the basic setup for what a website should look like, homepage, about us, blog links to social media, social proof, etc.? Yes, but we're not going to go too deep into that, okay? Because we can spend a whole nother class or, training on really all of the ins and outs of like your website. We do not have to get that technical. Okay. Now, will I be showing you examples? Yeah, I'll be showing you examples of websites, and you can kind of see by what I'm demonstrating and what I'm sharing with you. But the idea here is this. If you don't have a website yet, we are going to show you a very basic way to set up that website. Okay. And show you where you can get it done for you for under probably $50. All right. What platform you should be using, because you need to keep that part simple. Okay. We tend to want to overcomplicate that side of it because you think you need all that stuff before you produce a piece of content. Wrong. Okay. Wrong. We do not have to wait until we get all of our menus looking good, our logo perfect, our sidebar banners right? Like the formatting perfect, the theme, the right theme. Did we choose the right theme? Don't care about that right now. Okay. If you do not have pieces of content being created and posted on your website, the first thing that we need to do is create that. And then we need to publish it at a very basic level and get it going. All right. That other stuff we can do later. Okay. But yes, there are some basics that we need to follow. Right. And when we create that shell, right, of the website, we need to make sure that that's light, meaning it's going to perform well in search. And we want to make sure maybe a couple of plugins that we can install will be there to help us a little bit. But I'll promise you this, we are not going to complicate this process, because when we started these two brands, actually any brand that I've ever started, but these two in particular that we share inside of BCA, those two, very, very basic. Like we just had our website set up, a very basic logo, and we did have an About Us page, very, very short, and some disclaimers. Obviously, you got to have your disclaimer in there, and that's it. And then we just created a post and hit publish, and then just kept repeating that, right? And over time, have we modified the theme a little bit, added a plugin here or there? Yeah, we wanted to optimize, our images a little bit. Yes, but not in the beginning. No, not in the beginning. In the beginning, we just want to get going. All right. So the idea here is with this content creation challenge is every single day, we're going to go through this process as if you're creating a brand new piece of content from scratch, all the way from how to find the right topics, the right keywords. All right. And then from there, how to actually get it created, then how to format it so it's usable, so people can actually go through it, and then how to optimize it, how to publish it, how to amplify it. All right. So all of that, one little step you're going to go through, then you're going to come back the next day with that assignment completed, not going to be hard. And then we're going to take that now and we're going to apply the next lesson. And then we're going to build on that. We're going to go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And at the very end, you are going to go through this process and you're going to have a piece of content created and you're going to understand how to do it, period. All right. So That's what we're going to be doing. So I hope I answered your question. Yes, we're going to touch on that a little bit, but we're not going to focus a lot of time on that because that's not the important part. The important part is having a very simple, lightweight website. And what I mean by that is one that doesn't have a lot of bells and whistles on it right now, because that a lot of times can slow things down. We don't want that. All right. What's up? Hello from Dallas. Long time me see. Scooby Life, what's up? Good morning, Scott and friends. Good morning. Good morning. All right, cool. So let me ask you this. Who right now is here on this coffee talk that will be attending our 7-day content creation challenge? I'd like you to drop it in there right now. Right now, officially, we have just over 605, I believe it is, 606 the last time I looked, officially registered to attend our live challenge. But out of that, here's a little thing here I want you guys to realize. And this goes for any business, any brand. You have people that will sign up, right? It's free, right? They're signing up. There's 600 plus people. Now, out of those people, I know that there's only going to be a small percentage. I say a small percentage, probably like 20 or 30%, maybe 40% that will actually show up, right? And the reason why is people want this, but do they really want to put the time and effort in? All right. If you are one of those people that registered but did not join the Facebook group, the private Facebook group, we have a private 7-day pop-up group that we're going to be using just for this challenge. And what I mean by that is, and what I was saying before was, out of 606 people right now, 240 people are the ones that went over and got themselves in that group. Right. So if you go to that group, you're like, Scott, I thought you said there were 600 people. There's 600 people. I've got them right now in my email provider. But 240 plus people are the ones that actually went and followed step one, right? So guys, what you have to do is you got to actually go through this process, right? You can't just dabble, okay? You got to commit to something. Commit to, if it's content, create content, commit to that, right? If it's not creating content, but you want to just build your website, right? Focus on one task and complete it. That's all that I really ask. Okay. And if you are watching this, you did register, but you have not yet requested access to the pop-up group. That's where we're streaming it live, by the way. Okay. So to get access to the 7-day content creation challenge, you got to be in that group. All right. And that's where all the questions are going to be answered. It'll be there just for the 7-day live training. Okay. But if you have not yet requested access, please request access and be part of it. All right. And then that way there, you can watch the lives and then you can participate, ask questions, right? And just really focus on that. All right. So make sure that you do that. And it's crazy because, again, I send out emails to people that registered, tell them to go over there, and still people are not going over there to sign up, which is just one little action step. Right? One action step. So that also brings me to one point. I'm going to get to the actual topic at hand here today, but that brings me to my one point here is people say, Scott, isn't there a lot of competition though in these different markets? Yeah, there are. But you know what you have that a lot of people don't do? And that is they actually follow through and stick to something. Yeah, there's a lot of people right now teaching people how to create content. So I could sit there and go, well, Scott, why would you want to do that? There's other people teaching how to create content. There are. I got my methodology. I've got my process. I've got it. My whole thing is keeping it simple, keeping it light, right? Making it so it's not like a huge, heavy task, right? So that's my thing. But I know that if I put stuff out there, it's going to attract the right people, and those people I'm going to be able to help. What you also need to realize is what you have as an advantage is you can do this right here. You can jump on a Facebook Live. You can do a podcast if you want to. You can guest on other people's podcasts if you want to. You can do YouTube. There's all of these things that you can do, but you got to stick to one and you got to commit to it. That's the advantage that you can have if you want it. All right. If you want it, it's being consistent. It's you saying, I'm going to do this, and you actually do it and you finish it. All right. That's why if you are going to go through the 7-day content creation challenge, I need you to commit to doing it. Okay. I need you to commit to just starting it with us, finishing it with us, but doing all the tasks, right? And then from there, having that piece of content created. And if you do, you're ahead of so many other people because they usually don't even get that far. All right. So let's do that. All right. All right, cool. So let's see here. Salma says, hey, Scott, how was your weekend? Volleyball. It was awesome, by the way. It was a grass tournament. Oh my God. My daughter and her partner won the entire division. So they played the 14Us. She's a 13-year-old, and they ended up winning. And it was awesome. It was. She also played in an adult league or an adult tournament the day before, and they came in 6th, which was pretty awesome. And these are grown women. So it was pretty fun. And it was about 2.5, 3 hours from here. So we had a great weekend, considering with COVID and, the pandemic and all that stuff, trying to be as careful as possible. It was a really, really great weekend. Had a blast. It's always fun when you win too. You know what I mean? Like, but there was a lot of lessons learned. My daughter has learned so much since she went to Clearwater, Florida in a huge tournament, that she learned a lot just on the craft of beach volleyball, because beach volleyball is like a chess match. It's not necessarily how hard you can hit. It's more about where you can put that ball, because it's 2-on-2, where you can put that ball where someone else isn't. So it's really, that's awesome. Scooby Life, me, I'll be joining. What's up, Ruth? Good to see you. Me, hopefully trying to work times out. Yeah, and just to mention the times here real quick, guys, it's 2 p.m. Eastern time is going to be the live. Now, I should say this as well. I know Ruth is here and Octavio's here. If you are inside of Brand Creators Academy, we're giving you guys that special link to join live, but we're also giving you access to the recordings so you guys are like upgraded to VIPs. We're going to give the VIP recordings to all of our BCA members, but also any VIPs. If you can't make it to the live, then you probably want to upgrade to the VIP. And right now, currently, depending on when you're watching this, it's at a discounted price. So you might want to jump in on that. What's up, Karen? Good morning. What is the private Facebook for this content class? Well, I'm not just going to give it out. You have to go and register. When you go to register, then you will have that on the thank you page. The thank you page will give you all of the details. So if you go to launchyourcontent.com, enter your name and email address, you'll be registered, and immediately you'll go to a thank you page that will give you all of the details. It'll also, it'll make you an offer for the VIP pass if you want that. If you don't, you can just, you hit next and you'll get taken to that. Let's see. How long is each session? Each session is going to be roughly 45 minutes to 90 minutes. Depends on the day, because each day will be a little bit different. Some days going to be a little bit more in depth. Some days will just be recap, but then also some action steps and showing you and demonstrating what to do. We'll always have probably about 15 to 20 minutes of Q&A, but we're going to try to keep these to 45 minutes to an hour, but then leaving some Q&A open. So I would say, between an hour and 20 minutes. Just had a reunion this weekend with all the girls I played volleyball with in college. So much fun. Amazing about your daughter. Yeah, she's having a blast. I mean, she's actually more excited now than she's ever been. Okay, where do you download the workbook? Do we download ahead of time? No, Karen, the workbook isn't even created yet because it's being created as we go through this, right? So we're not creating these beforehand. What we're doing is we're teaching. And then what I'm doing is I'm having my my editor come in and then create the workbooks for after the fact. So the workbooks will be for our VIPs, or Karen, I know that you're in BCA, you'll be getting them as well. But the workbooks are going to be something that we're creating as we're going through this, and then they'll be giving them out at the end of class. So this way here you have them for the future to walk you through this process. All right, we're going to get into the actual topic here in a minute, but let me answer this or at least read this. Scott, I've listened to your podcast for years while in my car. The pandemic this year gave us all some space to visit each other virtually and invest ourselves in better ways. This is true. Oh, congrats on the volleyball fun and skills and for volleyball dad. Yes, very proud volleyball dad. So it was a great weekend. Jeannie says I'm in BCA too. Yeah, Jeannie. If you want to attend live, you're more than welcome, but we are obviously, once we're done, all the recordings will be put into a VIP area, or now it will be the 7-day content creation challenge little members portal, that's part of BCA too once you're inside. So you'll have access to that. So if the times don't work for you, no worries. You'll have access to the recordings and the workbooks, templates, all that stuff that we're going to be creating. So there's that. Okay, cool. Let's get into it. So today I wanted to just talk a little bit about this breadcrumb content strategy that drives website traffic. Now, a lot of you know that I'm huge on evergreen content, right? Evergreen content. If you guys are brand new listening to this, watching this, and you hear me talk about evergreen, it means something that I create today that will get found 6 months from now, 6 years from now, 10 years from now. Okay. That's evergreen content. The difference of evergreen content and just content could be something like, well, I posted on Snapchat. I posted on TikTok. I posted on, one of these, other, social media, what's TikTok, Snapchat, they go away, Instagram even, right? Like those, you got to constantly keep feeding. Evergreen is something that's going to live on. It's going to last. And it's kind of like planting seeds. Or in this case, what I'm talking about here today is how to drop breadcrumbs that lead over to your website. All right. So I want you to think about every piece of content that you're creating is a breadcrumb that will lead someone, the right person, over to your website. So they're going to take that, they're going to consume it. And then from there, once they're on your website, you have other breadcrumbs within your website that can constantly be kind of feeding on, right? And then that also allows you to build a better relationship with people, right? Because you're helping them. The more that you help them, really achieve a result of some kind, it doesn't matter what it is, just some type of result, it's going to just build a little bit more trust, a little bit more, know, like, and trust factor, as I call it. Okay. So the one thing that I want you to really, really think about, and this is where a lot of people get this wrong, is they think to themselves, I just want to create content and I want to create something that I think that someone is looking for. We don't want to necessarily do that in the beginning, especially. Okay. We want to do a little bit of research, and we're going to go through this in the 7-day content creation challenge. But really, just the one thing that I want you to take away from this right here, right now, is I always want you to be thinking about search, right? Is someone searching for this, right? And so I'm going to give you an example here in a minute, but there's different types of breadcrumbs content. And you guys have heard me talk about this before, I'm sure. Okay. And if not, you're going to hear it here for the first time. There's three different types of breadcrumbs. All right. There's one, questions. Okay. That's one type. Okay. And we can go down that road of questions for a long time, depending on your niche, a lot of questions. And I'll be honest, a lot of the traffic coming in our little niches that we're building inside BCA, these little case studies, a lot of them are questions. A lot of them are questions. And oh, by the way, if you're going to attend the 7-day content creation challenge, I'm going to be sharing one of those pieces of content, actually a few, and how we created it, how simple it is. And then from there, what that turned into as far as traffic, which is thousands of people. Okay. The other thing is too, I should probably mention this. I'll throw this out there. Chris Schaefer is actually going to be taking a new topic, and we're going to show you how we came up with this topic for one of our niches. And he's going to actually, in real time, create that piece of content. And then we're going to publish that piece of content. So this way here, you can see the whole thing, but it starts with a question. So even though we've been doing this now for a long time, and these niches are probably about a little over a year and a half now, we're still adding question type breadcrumbs. Okay. Because number one, they're the easiest. All right. So always be thinking about in the very beginning, what type of breadcrumbs are you putting out there? And that does matter. I'm going to give you an example of one that's not good and a few that are really good. Okay. So number one type of breadcrumb is your questions. Okay. Question type breadcrumbs. That's your type of content. Okay. The second one is how to. Now, how to could be very similar to a question, but a question sometimes is kind of even just more of a direct question. All right. And I'll demonstrate that here in a minute. Okay. Give you an example. And then the third breadcrumb type piece of content would be product based. People searching for products. Okay. So people searching for questions, people searching for how-tos, people searching for products. But every one of those is search driven. Okay. So when someone ever comes to me and goes, "Hey, Scott, what do you think about me creating content on this?" I'm like, is it a search query or is it just something random that you just think off the top of your head? Right. So we want to be very, very strategic about the content that we're creating, but we don't want to over analyze because then we get stuck. So what we're really going to do is start really at a high level, and we're going to get a little bit of data, but then we're just going to go ahead and start creating, because I'm a believer something is better than nothing. And if we post something on our website, we have a much greater chance. I think we all agree. We have a much greater chance of someone finding us and finding one of our breadcrumbs and then leading back to our website. Okay. So let me talk about this real quick. Okay. One of the common mistakes, like I said, is not going after search content. So let's say, for example, you wrote a post about this. Let's say that you're like, you know what? I caught a great bass this past weekend. I just want to write about it. I want to talk about it. And your title was this, how many bass I caught this week in a pond. Guess how many bass I caught? You know, that might be a great email subject line. That might be a good social media hook, but it's not a search type of title, right? Because you're basically saying like, hey, guess how many bass I caught this week, right? Or you'll never believe how many bass I caught this week, right? But some people write like they're writing a little journal, or they're writing just what happened to them. You have to be more about the search. You have to think more about the search, not about just what you think is a good title. Okay. And that's where you have to do a little bit of research, not a lot, a little bit of research. And again, we're going to walk through this in the 7-day content creation challenge. It's part of one of the days that we're going to be really focusing on that. So let's look at these three that I've got here written out for myself to kind of share with you. How about this one? How to catch bass in a pond. Okay. I am sure that people are probably searching for that, because what are they doing? They're trying to find out, how do I catch bass in a pond? It's not, guess how many bass I caught in a pond. No one cares about that, right? So what people care about is they want to know how to catch bass in a pond. Okay. Or how to catch more bass in a pond. Could be okay. All right. Here's another one. Can you catch bass in a pond? Maybe you're new to bass fishing and you don't know. Are there bass in ponds? I don't know. Maybe not. Different fish live in different, different bodies of water. Okay. So you could see someone on their phone being like, I don't know. There's a pond over here. I wonder if there's any bass in there. Or maybe another one could be like, what kind of fish live in a pond? That's a question, right? That'd make a great post. But if you're about bass fishing, that's where you want to kind of niche it down and only maybe talk about bass. Can you catch bass in a pond? Or how about you go a little bit deeper and you go, can you catch bass in a pond at night? So maybe you go a little bit long tail on that. Okay. So that's another great question. Or how about this one? I said this one before, but I'll kind of build on this. Do bass live in a pond? Right? Best time to catch bass in a pond. You know that would be a search that someone would do, right? That's kind of like top level. We're just looking at like, what are the most basic questions that someone would ask? Then we can take that and then we can start to play. We can start to plug that in. We can start to see other suggested, searches and things like that. But that's our starter. But what we're doing here is we're trying to find questions that other people are asking. So again, if all that you take away from this today is search, I want to know search traffic. I want to know who is searching for this. I don't want to just say, oh, I'm going to create this because I think it sounds cool, right? We want to start with questions. All right. And sometimes questions could be how-tos. So I did that there. How to catch more bass in a pond. That would be one. Or it could be, can you catch bass in a pond? That's a question, right? A little bit different. And then the product-based side could be something like best bass fishing lure for ponds. Best bass fishing lure for nighttime, right? What are people doing when they're searching for that? They're searching for a lure that helps them catch more bass. They're probably interested in buying a lure today or tomorrow or 3 months from now, right? So we want to always look at those types of breadcrumbs or those types of pieces of content. I also look at these as the 3 content buckets, right? So we're going to take those content buckets, we're going to fill them. But in the very beginning, I always like to start with that question one because it's so easy. And we're always sprinkling those questions back in. We're constantly dropping these breadcrumbs. We're dropping these breadcrumbs, and they all lead back to our home base, to our website. Okay. But we have to keep dropping breadcrumbs. All right. And planting these seeds and allowing them to grow too. Right. Because when you drop a breadcrumb, you're putting it there, but we also need to get the attention to it sometimes. Right. Well, how do we do that? Well, we have to see what people are actually searching for. And then we have to fill that void. Right. And you might say, well, Scott, hasn't people already written stuff on this or created content on YouTube about this? Yeah. But you have to look at the data a little bit and go, what one is my better opportunity? Right. And we're going to go through that as well during this 7-day content creation challenge. I'm going to show you how to find multiple topics. And then from there, how to sort out which ones are the easiest that I should probably start with. And it doesn't mean always that you're looking at like the most search volume either. Because I've got keywords right now that we're ranking for that one keyword you would have looked at it and said, wow, this thing's only getting like 10 searches a month. Would you even create that? Yes, I would. Because I know for a fact that there's more people that are going to come from that long tail keyword. And here's why. Because if you put in how to catch more bass in a pond, you're going to get other searches that are coming that are related to that search and not just that one search. So those 10 that it's saying that's exactly that aren't always just that. Because I've got some now that are getting 1,000, 1,200 searches a month from one keyword, right? So you have to look at that as when you're looking at the data, don't just go after, and in the very beginning, do not go after search volume. Just like I got to get the most search volume. We do not want to do that. All right. So that's what I wanted to cover here today. Went on a little bit of a tangent there, but I'm really, really passionate about just getting something out there, right? Just getting something out there. And if you have already created content, great. All right. But are you creating the right type of content? Are you giving Google what it needs to help you rank? And I don't mean it's this big, massive SEO strategy where you're out there building these backlinking campaigns and you're trying to, really influence the algorithm and manipulate it. We're not doing any of that stuff. It's really like super simple, keeping it simple, following a simple process and being consistent. That's the name of the game. Is like come up with some topics that are getting some search traffic. People are searching for it, creating it on a weekly basis, putting it out there and staying consistent. Game over. If we do that, we're going to get traffic. All right. I shared Dawn LaFontaine last week it was. And she's getting over 30-some thousand, maybe even touching 40,000 people just in a year's time. So every day she's getting 1,500 to 1,600 people to her website because she was consistent and she put out one piece of content per week, just one piece of content. That's 52 pieces of content. And now she's getting that traffic. Crazy, right? Not hard, consistent action over and over again. But we got to do it. All right. So if you guys are struggling with that, or if you want help with that, or if you just want to go through this 7-day content creation challenge and create a piece of content that will be able to allow you to get found out there and drive people back to your website, then I would encourage you to join me. All right. For the 7-day content creation challenge. And if you have not yet registered and you want to go through it, head on over to launchyourcontent.com. If you are watching this before Wednesday, March 3rd at 2 p.m. Eastern time. You can join us for when we kick this thing off live. And that, again, will be happening on March 3rd. If you're watching this later and you want to go through this 7-day content creation challenge and you want to create your first piece of content that will start getting traffic, then I would still encourage you to go to launchyourcontent.com. It's going to be a very, very small investment to go through this training. And from there, you will have all of the different pieces that you need and the process to start creating content that attracts the right people and brings them back over to your website. So again, launchyourcontent.com. Head on over there, get registered, and we can start creating your content and start driving traffic to your brand. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you there today. Let's go ahead and see if we got any questions. I see Derek has joined us now. What's up, Derek? Good to see you, man. Do you recommend multiple landing pages on your website? No, not right now. And Derek, I know where you're at, man, in all of your stuff. One landing page, one lead magnet, start creating content. That's where I'd go. Here's the other thing. I want to bring this up, guys, because I think it's really important that you understand this. Everything that I've been talking about here on the coffee talks, on my podcast, it just, everything fuels itself. Everything kind of feeds off itself. Okay. So what Derek's talking about is like, okay, should I have multiple landing pages? Landing page is for a lead magnet. A lead magnet is to help you build your email list, right? So let's just kind of think about this for a second. Let's say that you started building your email list. You started creating content. All right. There's two things that are going to happen there with that. The email list is going to get emailed at least once a week with what? Your content. So now what happens when you drive people over to your website? You have a chance for them to purchase something if you have something for sale. Now, if you have done a product-based post, right, something that talks about a product, you're probably going to be an affiliate through Amazon or eBay or Etsy or whatever other affiliate program you want to. And then there's a good chance that people are going to buy through your link and you're going to earn a commission. Or maybe, just maybe, you've been listening for any period of time and you said, Scott, I like the idea of creating a digital product. You've got a digital product. Now we can take the email list, we can drive them to the digital product, or we can drive them over to our website, which has different content that we've created about our products. And then from there, we have a chance for them to buy, right? So everything kind of works together. Content, right? Our home base that it resides on, our email list that drives traffic to our website. And if we can have affiliate offers, product-based posts, or our own products, and then we can make sales on that. So it's just a very simple model, guys. But you have to start somewhere. And if you have not started creating content, I'd start creating content. Even if you only have 4 pieces of content in the next month and you're starting to build your email list and you got, I don't know, 50 people, 100 people on that email list, send them a link over to your website. Go, hey, just create a new piece of content. And you can also ask them, hey, what are you struggling with catching more bass? And then you can start creating content from their questions. It just feeds itself. It makes it so much simpler. Let's see here. Aldo, what's up, man? Hi from Peru. Oh man, I love when I hear people from all over the world, messaging. It's awesome. Watching the podcast after almost 2 months. As usual, the content is so useful and motivating. Awesome, Aldo. I'm so glad to hear it, man. This is from Derek. How many links would you put on a page when is it too much? I think is what you're saying. Only put them in where it makes sense. I would not just put links to put links, right? And what you're saying is if you have a blog post and there's, different things that you want to link out to or link internally, wherever it makes sense, I would not force that. I would not just say I want to have 50 links in my article because I want a whole bunch of links. No, only where it makes sense. Should we make sure our links match our breadcrumbs that link back to relevant content on the page? So I think what you're talking about there, Derek, is like, they call that the anchor text. Should the anchor text be the keyword that you're trying to rank for? Now we're starting to get into like, okay, SEO, like how to build pillar content and, feeder content and pillars and all of this stuff. We don't need to go there yet. Okay. What we need to do is if you have a piece of content that you've written and it talks about how to catch more bass in a pond, You might have another post that you wrote that says how to catch bass in a pond at night, and you would naturally link those. Well, inside of that, if you started talking about, some people also wonder, how to catch more bass in a pond at night. It's actually pretty similar, blah, 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 blah. And then you would just hyperlink that over to that other blog post. So it would naturally happen, but you don't have to force it and you don't have to overthink it. Right now, I don't think there's anybody here right now that's watching this, listening to this, whatever, that needs to get too technical on your SEO. It's really, really basic stuff to get the ball rolling. Let's see here. Another one from Derek. What do you think about backlinks to our website? I think they're great, but I don't focus on them. Derek, I have focused zero attention on backlinks to our case study brands that we're building in BCA, which are getting between 35,000 and 40,000 page views every single month, over 1,000 visitors per day typically, and zero backlink. We have backlinks, but we did not actively try to get backlinks. Okay. When you actively try to get backlinks, it's a lot of work, number one. And number two, sometimes you're going to get a bad link, or you're going to get, it's going to look like you're trying to get links. And then that's also a no-no to Google. So I don't even like to go down that road. What I like to do, create really good content that's useful, and then people will naturally link over to it. The other thing that you can do is when you have images, you always want to keyword your images or name your images what they are, the keyword. Okay. And then what that does is some people will use that image on their website, or they'll, link to it. That creates a backlink. That helps you. So I do not focus any of my attention to backlinking as far as a strategy, at least at this level. All right. So yes, I would not focus too much on that. What do you think about membership sites linking back to the website? What do you think about membership sites? I think it's fine if it makes sense. You know what I mean? Is it your membership site or someone else's membership site? If it's your membership site, then yeah, link to it. Why not? But if you're saying like someone else's, if they want to link over to it because it's a useful piece of content, then sure. Salma says sip. Thank you very much. I will do that. Let's see. Where do we search for keywords for our posts? The very first place that you start is Google. You go to Google and you type in how to catch more bass in a pond and let it autofill. And then you see a whole bunch more that come down, and then you start to explore. You start to do that. Again, inside the 7-day content creation challenge, I'm going to walk you through that. I'm going to walk you through using a tool like Ubersuggest. Another one that we use that will give you more ideas. And then from there, it's a matter of like, okay, pick that one, right? Like that's all that we're trying to do at that point. Now there is a way to find keywords, less competition, but then also how to format the post, because you can then get picked up for multiple keywords from one post if you are able to then create subheads in there, also known as an H2 tag. If you want to get SEO-y here, that's not actually a word, but I just made that one up, SEO-y. So if you wanted to go down that road, you could then say, okay, my subtitles, my H2s are going to also get some weight in Google, and I could potentially get found for those keywords. And there's ways that we can do that even just using Google. All right. People are really interested in fasting. How would you pose your question, breadcrumbs, to link back to website? I would start looking at fasting, right? So it would be something like, can you, or I got one. What is the best time to fast? Can you fast before you work out? Should you fast in the morning or at night? Like I'm just making these up off the top of my head, but these are questions that people are asking, I'm sure, about fasting, right? Can you fast if you are pregnant, right? Or should you, can you, it probably would be a can you fast? It also could be something along the lines of, can you fast 8 hours a day? Can you fast 12 hours a day? Is it bad to fast 24 hours in a day? That's another one. So all of these, if you talk about fasting, you talk about that, you think those people that are asking those questions that come over to your website are going to want more about fasting? Yeah, they are. What is the right ratio? Should you do it at a certain time of day? It's like all that stuff. What are the best foods to break your fast? That's another one, right? So anyway, that's just some ideas there. Is Google keyword search the best to use, or is there something better than what Google uses? There are others I know, but Google keyword search tool is free. Yeah, Google, I mean, that's where you're going to want to start. I mean, honestly, that's the search engine you want to, get traffic from. So that's where I would start. Uber Suggest is going to be the next one that I would start to play with. And really Uber Suggest it's not even necessarily about the keywords. It is, but it's not all about that. For me, it's about discovering other websites that are publishing content in my niche that I can explore what content they're creating and how well it's doing. And is there anything else that I could add to that? So that's another angle. And we'll be sharing all that in the challenge. What should be the percentage of question to how to, there is no percentage. The percentage is, I don't know. We can make up percentages. It's to me, it's like, don't even go down that road yet. I mean, if you have not created 50 question-based posts, then we shouldn't even be having that conversation. That's my take, because question posts are going to be the easiest, and you can knock them right out. So I would, again, think of your website as the ultimate resource. All right. Just think about that for a minute. Your website is the ultimate resource for your niche. Is it going to need these questions? Probably, right? So put as many question-based pieces of content, breadcrumbs, as you can, all right? And then you can sprinkle in some product-based, some how-tos. The how-tos are going to take you longer because you might have to demonstrate. You might have to do screenshots. Questions, it's pretty much just, you can just, create pieces of written content, okay? So I wouldn't care about right now any percentages. What's the right ratio? Should I do, I don't know, 30%, 60%, 10? I wouldn't go down that road. Yes, Salma, I'm looking forward to it as well. How long will each session last? Again, don't know. Haven't taught this one yet, right? But I'm going to shoot for keeping it really concise and really focused on one task at hand. 45 minutes to an hour and 20 is about what I'm looking at. But yeah, I would say that's what I'm shooting for. So we'll see. Let's see. Oh, what was the plugin you mentioned last week for reducing JPEG size on your site? I don't know off the top of my head. I really don't. There's a few of them out there. They all pretty much do the same job. I will be going through that in the challenge when we go over website kind of like basics. So I'll have those handy at that time. Do you mean backlinks from other people? Yes. Not a backlink to your page from your page is not a backlink necessarily. It's an interlink, which is also important though, because Google does want to see that you're interlinking to your own stuff, because it means that you're related and you're giving more resources, about certain topics, or you're elaborating on certain topics. I've started actively naming images better. Should we go back and rename images? Will you cover this in the 7-day? I won't go through going back, but I will most likely talk about your images and how to, how to name them properly. But I don't know if it's worth it to go back and do all those. I think your better option is to just, from here on out, moving forward. And then maybe once you get rolling, if you wanted to go back to some of your posts that you think you want to give a little bit more love to, it might not be a bad idea. But I don't know that I would go back and do all of those before I continue to start creating more new content. Is it okay to script an image to make it your own? Well, okay. So on images, I don't know what you mean by that. Is it okay to script an image? Scrape, maybe? Is that what you meant? I think you have to look at royalty-free images, which we'll talk about those too. There's a couple of sites that I like. They're free. You can use their images. And then what I would do is, once you download the image, you want to rename that image, or you could always take it into Canva and then modify it a little bit if you want to, because it has to have the right royalty-free license, which I'll show you the sites that give you this. And then from there, you're going to rename it when you export the file. And now it's like a brand new image. So that's one thing that I would do. So let's see. I like Smush for reducing photos. Yeah, I've never used that one, but like I said, they're all pretty similar. Will you be talking about interlinking? Yes, we will. Scraping, that's what you meant. Yeah. Brad, for those who don't like to write, would it be okay to do a video and then transcribe it and then use that as written content? Yes, but I'm glad you brought that up, Brad. I love that idea. And I will be talking about that in the content creation challenge because that is a strategy. Because like me, I don't like writing. So I either got to have someone write for me or I have to get on video, have it transcribed. And then though, you don't just want to put the transcription up there because when you're talking like this here, it's not the same as if you're writing it, but you can get probably 90% of the way there. What I would do is I would have it transcribed. Then I would probably send it off to someone on Fiverr or Upwork or FreeUp or any of those and have them edit it so it flowed better. And maybe you spend, I don't know, 15 or 20 bucks to have someone do that, depending on how long it is. That's what I would do. I would not just take a transcript and upload it and, post it as a post. You'd want to go through it, and whether that's yourself, maybe you're going to go through it afterwards and you're like, I just don't want to sit down and write, but I can go in and clean up. So maybe you just go in, you clean it up, you add your H1s, your H2s, your H3s, and those are just tagging systems that are inside of WordPress that you're going to be using, which also helps you when you're SEOing your blog post and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, that was great. Good little Monday morning here. I didn't realize we were going to go that long, but you guys had some questions. So I love that. So guys, if you are not registered yet, head on over to launchyourcontent.com. Okay. If you are watching this later after March 3rd, well, then I would still go to launchyourcontent.com. And from there, you will still be able to go through the 7-day content creation challenge, but you will be going through the recordings and it will be offered as a paid training. All right. So the VIP access will give you recordings. It's also going to give you a bonus session that we're going to be doing with our live VIPs. We're going to do some content reviews from our students, and we're going to have workbooks and templates that you're going to be able to have access to as well. All right. So VIPs are going to get all of that as well. If you're going through this as a 7-day free content creation challenge, the way that you can access this free content is by going through it live with us. So we're doing this so we can teach it to a live class. You can watch it for free that way. If you're watching this after the fact, it will be a paid training, and you can get access to that by heading over to launchyourcontent.com and making sure that you go through and grab the exclusive pass there. All right. So guys, if you have any other questions, by all means, drop them in the comments. I will be coming on here Wednesday morning, but very, very quickly to do our Wednesday coffee talk. It probably will be discussing getting ready for the 7-day content creation challenge, because that afternoon at 2 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday, we are going to officially kick this baby off. And I am fired up, excited, and I hope you are too, because people that are joining, that are going to go through this content creation challenge, are going to learn how to create a piece of content, okay, from scratch, get it posted, and be on their way to getting traffic, and then how to repeat that over and over and over again. All right. So guys, have an awesome, amazing day. Thanks so much for hanging out with me this morning. And I look forward to seeing you Wednesday in the morning and during the content creation challenge. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.